Last Taters Tuesday, we were headed into Memphis, and we carried about 8 days of food out of Memphis, thinking that's how long it was going to take us to get to Vicksburg. That was at about a 40-mile-a-day pace. But we've upped our pace to about 50 miles a day with the current and everything. So we made it to Vicksburg. We still have a couple extra days, but we're going to go ahead and stop in Vicksburg, get a couple more days, and that should give us enough to make it to Cat Springs, which will be our final resupply and our only resupply on the Atch, as we're effectively calling our route out to the Gulf. And we are continuing to deal with the heat. We basically expect the heat to continue all the way. We basically expect the heat to continue all the way down to the Gulf. And we expected this. No one I've ever met has said, oh yeah, August, that's the best time to go to Mississippi, Louisiana. But we didn't have much window based on my school schedule. This is when we had to be here. So thank you very much, Matt, for dealing with the heat, taking one for the team so that I can actually finish a whole trip with you. We actually got a YouTube comment.
Ooh.
Saying something like, welcome to hell on earth, summer in the South. I actually beg to differ with that. Being from SoCal, I think summer in SoCal is worse. I'm not normally in SoCal in summer. I normally flee up to the mountains.
Yeah, that's why so few people want to live in Southern California, because they find the coastal dry heat just so miserable. Yes.
The spring, the winter, and the fall, great in SoCal. But summer, yeah, you got to get out of there because it's this hot and it's a dry heat, which is the worst. Your skin's cracking.
The only person in history to prefer humid heat.
Your skin's cracking.
Never lived in it.
Your skin's cracking, your lips are cracking, and it's just so oppressive, just sucks all the moisture out of you.
I like how she positioned it, so right as I'm changing here.
You keep walking into the shot.
Look where I'm standing, woman.
It's about 7 o'clock.
Now you're pointing at where I'm going to go to the bathroom.
It's about...
Game face, Blondie, game face.
It's 7 o'clock in the morning. We are getting ready to pack up and get on the river, and this is the nicest time of day right now.
Low bar. We have to get all the high spirits out of our system right now because it is going to be oppressive for the rest of the day. We have talked about switching to a hot weather schedule, basically meaning get on the river at first light, take a break during the worst of the middle of the day, and then start paddling again in the evening when it cools down. We're a little reluctant to do that. I'm used to doing that on my hikes. Jen hasn't had to, and she's worse than I am about sitting still when we're out on something like this. But that does remain an option if it just gets too bad. So far, we've been just muddling through one day at a time. This camp was a little bit of a pain because we had to carry the boat up there, but on the plus side, we actually had shade, which on the downside has kept us from getting going until it's almost 8 o'clock now. So I'm going to go in, soak everything down, so when we take off, at least I have a little while before the heat gets to me. While I'm still not the biggest fan of the Jelly Gear shirts, on the plus side, they don't bother me quite as much when they're soaking wet. The tech shirts we wear, they just like suck onto your skin, and I have not liked that, so I just have to spot squirt. Mush Blondie. Okay, so I don't get any sunscreen. She has claimed the sunscreen, but she has sun protection,
no,
so... Matt dies of facial cancer today on Taters Tuesday. She's usually telling me, oh God, please cover up, please cover up. But normally there's no pants. Wait, I'm not wearing pants. No, never mind. I don't like that mask. You can't see her looks of disapproval as much. Ugh, it is going to be warm. Kind of fascinated by the varying types of mitigation they try out here. We keep seeing these patches where obviously somebody put new rocks out, but in a very limited spot. It's not like they even reinforced a half mile or something. It's just they seem to have almost randomly picked a spot, applied rocks just to that, and then nothing. Water quality has gotten better, but we still have dead fish. Ugh. When the water's bad, the entire area just smells like dead fish, and they get sucked into the eddies sometimes, so where you think you would have a nice protected little area to swim where we're camped, it turns out to be water so disgusting won't get anywhere near it. We were actually saved last night because there was a gap in the Wingen Dam. Oh, Jen, those might be evil geese. It's kind of amazing the amount the current varies as we're going, because it's still moving us along, but we get some buoys that are barely being pushed at all, and then others are just raging. Obviously, anytime the river widens out, the flow is going to go down. Kind of a shame how non-scenic it is taking shots of the river out here. And welcome to Vicksburg. That is the Yazoo River that we don't want to go up. We were told we could not use their dock. So we're going to try and make something work under that bridge. Wow, that boat is completely out of the water. I was expecting a lot more of the casinos actually on the water. It looks like a lot of them got swept away / destroyed. Now they've rebuilt them on the bank. They changed the laws, so that's allowed now. We had write-ups from people years ago who said they went to a lot of different buffets on these things. Sadly, they're all the way up there, but Taters does love her some swallow action.
So cool.
And this is our plan for finding a place for Matt to wait and not die of heat stroke.
We have found a decent place to pull up under the Vicksburg Bridge. There's sand. The sand is in the shade. It is very, very noisy. Matt, last call. Are you sure you willing to stay here with the boat? Just trying to get up to the road from where we left the boat. One thing that we have noticed is on the lower Mississippi, river views are still a thing. River access seems to be less of a thing. There is a boat ramp up the Yazoo, but that was going to add about an extra hour of paddling. This would be the Mississippi Welcome Center, which is very welcoming coming from the roadside, less welcoming coming from the riverside. There's all these cannons pointed at you. You have to hop a fence, etc. Yeah,
look at this.
Yeah, not very
It's not very friendly.
walker friendly.
Ah, the calmness of nature.
Okay, so got stuff for a couple more days on the river. And we are even trying a little cooler out of desperation. See if we can keep some ice for at least a day.
Since taking the boat into town is such a hassle, having to get it on the cart, yada yada, we've been leaning pretty heavily on Subways as far as just getting fresh food to go. And here comes Jungle Taters. This is a cool view of the river. Hard walk, cool view. Fun times. My little boat refuge is down there. I had Blondie get me a fun thing. It's cooling water. Sharing is caring, Blondie. The caring, the sharing.
This ended up doing pretty good for us as a midday shade break out of the heat. Got cold drinks, Subway sandwiches, and we're just about ready to head out. We'll see how this cooler works out for us. We're not really expecting any of the ice to stay frozen past the day, but at least for a day after each town stop, we have ice for drinks. We can keep some of our fresh fruit a little bit colder. We'll have some guacamole still good for tomorrow. Don't have to worry about the broccoli turning before I cook dinner tonight. And we can chill the wine so it will not rise up to the ambient 90 degrees, 100 degrees.
This has been a really pleasant morning. There were cold drinks, there was food, there was a squirt bottle to spray Blondie. Everything except progress down the river. It is almost 3 o'clock. Our schedule is completely screwed, but we are resupplied and the worst of the heat has let off for the day.
Ah, Matt! Spray yourself and show how much you're enjoying the new bottle.
I feel like I was enjoying more.
Oh, this one seems so harmless. It's not on the list of things that you shall not get, like the Nerf gun or the mosquito salt gun.
You realize if you would have sent me, I would have looked at that and gone, okay, that's $2, but for $57, I could have gotten a super soaker.
This is why we avoid sending Matt to the store.
One of the many reasons. We would have got more candy and wine. Actually, we would have got all candy and wine, nothing else. Kind of fascinated by the architecture of those buildings. I really wish I could find like a diagram of what was going on where, just with all the scaffolding and everything.
Meanwhile, I just wish I could climb up the side.
Yeah, we have yet to watch it, but there is a god-awful movie by, I think, the same god-awful person that made that 28 meters down or whatever the horrible scuba thing was. Don't go up, just run out of air down there because you're gonna get nitrogen narcosis if you go up. It made a sequel too, if you can believe that.
And for those of you that think I don't have any culture, it's because this is the stuff that he prioritizes showing me.
She's seen like 3 or 4 of the Sharknadoes. I'm just saying, every now and then I show you something, I'm like, oh yeah, you're probably not gonna like this, and it's Pacific Rim. And you're like, giant robots punching things in the face, yay! Not to mention, you call like Super Troopers a really good movie. She didn't even think the second one was bad. I mean,
Don't put that on YouTube.
that you like Super Troopers? 4 o'clock and Jen keeps trying to tell me that it cools off after 4 and I keep calling her a liar and squirting her with the bad kitty bottle.
Hey, we've got to freeze, and don't make that bottle weird.
What? Okay, now look like you're paddling harder. This is your chance. This is all people will see, so they'll assume that you paddle this hard the entire day. Instead of just, okay, I'm gonna rudder for about 20 seconds while Matt does 12 paddles. Taters Tuesday is Taters takes the video, not Taters is in the video. Push a little faster.
Oh, that's really nice.
People do say my backside hides more of my face, so it's my best feature. And welcome to camp. Blondie is tired and doesn't care. Normally she wants trees. I found us trees. There's a spot over there, but no.
They're too far away.
Welcome to camp, low effort.
The things Matt will do to try to clean up in the evening.
What's that?
Walked braving pollution, quicksand. He's practically in the middle of the channel. Fun day. Got a little bit less paddling in due to our lengthy shade break midday, but had a great resupply in Vicksburg. Got a couple things that may or may not be helping us with the heat, but did provide some entertainment, the cooler and the spray bottle. And we ended up at this very romantic campsite.
Upstream from a nuclear power plant.
Oh yeah, there's a nuclear power plant off in the distance. That's not what makes it romantic. In fact, this lovely full moon reflecting off the water is not even the most romantic thing about this camp. No, the best thing about this camp is that I think we're far enough away from the trees that the mosquitoes aren't coming out here. They can't get to us out here. So my laziness of not wanting to carry the boat all the way up to the trees may have paid off.
That's going to look great when they turn it over to the news media, because that was found way downstream and they never found our bodies.
Tomorrow we are going to try a little different strategy to beat the heat. We are going to skip our normal morning routine, set an alarm for way too early, get out of the water, get out of the tent onto the water as quick as we can so we can get some morning paddling in, and then take a longer midday break. Hopefully get some more sleep, because I'm not going to get much tonight, it sounds like, with this plan. Home sweet home for the night.